Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of Over the Top Talk. This episode will be an interview, my first interview of 2026, and I thought, why don't I bring someone back that I haven't talked to in a while, haven't seen in a while? So, with no further ado, welcome back to the podcast, Mr. Austin Clayton. And for people that might not know who this is, I brought him on probably, I think, last year around January. He's sitting at 5-0 right now, trying to make it into the UFC hopefully this year. But how have you been, Austin? I know last year you welcomed a child into this world, you extended your family. I think you also moved as well, if I'm not wrong.
Yep. No, I mean, it's been a good year. It was a challenging year. I only got to fight one time. There was a lot of different variables that go into that, but at the end of the day, I had one fight and I made the most out of it. So that was a blessing. Welcome my daughter into this world, and that's been the most amazing thing in the world. So motivating. She's healthy. She's so smart. She's so beautiful, and it's just such a blessing, man. It's just every single day, like it doesn't matter whether you're sore or tired. It doesn't matter. It's the motivation is there every single day, no matter what. Um, and yeah, we did. We ended up moving to Las Vegas. We wanted to get closer to family, knowing that we had our daughter on the way. And so my family's in Arizona, and then my wife's family's in California. So it just made sense. And then still had a great gym and Extreme Couture, and just building my skill set and getting ready for, like you said, hopefully, this is the breakthrough year, and we break into the UFC this year. So
Yeah, and I was kind of following you probably for the past year. I know you had some fights that kind of, I think, fell out or didn't end up happening. How frustrating was it for some of those fights to not happen or fall out like they did?
man, it's crushing because like I work 2 times or train 2 times a day every day, no matter what. So I'm always ready. I'm always ready to jump on an opportunity. My only fight this year, I took on 4 days notice. Um, and I really thought that was going to be the one that was going to push me in because again, like I'm saying yes to these fights. Like my management, we're getting into these conversations of like, hey, are you interested? Are they interested? And I'm always saying yes, but these fights are never ended up happening. Even down to I was supposed to fight last night. For Tough Enough, they had a really big card to start off the year, and I was supposed to fight on that, but I had an opponent who said no. Uh, he was 6-1. He was supposed to be like, it's going to be a really good fight. He just fought for the LFA middleweight title. He lost that fight, so he's coming off a loss, and I guess he just wanted to make a better, business move instead of fighting me. But it's incredibly frustrating. But I trust God's plan, and I feel like my work will show. And I got a fight lined up now, so I'm ready to go. I'm super excited.
Perfect. And kind of like, who's been kind of your biggest influence, would you say, outside of the fighting world or inside the fighting world?
Man, it's got to be my dad. He is just a blueprint. He he didn't have nobody to show him how to do it, but he went and did it himself. And I just feel like if I apply the blueprint that he gave me to anything in life, I'll be successful. I'm not really worried about uh, you know, money. I'm not worried about, status. All this stuff will come as long as I continue to work hard and stay focused. It's only a matter of time. And they could delay me, but they can't stop me. So I'm gonna be there sooner or later.
And what would you say kind of maybe keeps you motivated for days that you might not want to go to the gym or train? Like, what kind of keeps you motivated and going to kind of want to win or just train?
Now my biggest motivation has to be my daughter. I mean, I wake up every single day and she sleeps in this bassinet next to our bed, right? And then every morning around 6:30, 7 o'clock, my wife puts her in the middle of the bed, and we're all just laying there right before I get up to do some training or do my lift. And I just look at her and I just want to give her 10 times the life that I ever had because that's what my parents did for me. She is such a massive motivating factor. My wife is a massive motivating factor. And then just that, thinking about that 10-year-old me. I've always dreamed of doing what I'm doing now. Where I'm at is, I've made it really far and I got so much more to go and I'm so excited. So I just want to, live up to the dreams and the goals that I set for myself as a 10-year-old kid and a young boy. And now that I'm a man, I got to do it for my family. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And obviously, I also wanted to mention like how is your like time management been? Because I know it must be kind of hectic when you have a small one and you're training, doing all that. So how's your time management been since you've
It's hard,
had your
man.
kid?
It's really hard. It's morning to night. That's just pretty much, eat, sleep, train, work, repeat. So me and my dad always had this this agreement, right? Whenever I started my own family, like my dad supported me throughout my whole MMA career. And once I started my own family, like I have to, provide for my family. So me and my buddy, we started this business and, just been working overtime with that. And, it's been a lot of ups and downs, but it's coming together. So that's been good. That's filled up a lot of my time. Still training 2 to 3 times a day, lifting 3 times a week, training 2 times a day. It's a lot. It is a lot, trying to stay on top of my nutrition and, obviously being a present father in my daughter's life and being a good husband to my wife. It's a lot, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's just preparing me for greater things. And, I feel like God has me exactly in the place that, he wants me. And it's just, like I said, I can't express it enough. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, and when it comes to like when you're in the gym, what's like a song or what's kind of your song playlist look like when you're training?
Man, it depends. It really just depends on, what side of the bed I wake up on. I really don't listen to much rap no more, but every once in a while, I like some old school 2000s, maybe some late 90s rap music. I listen to a lot of worship music and, every now and then I'll listen to some country, but I mean, even down to house music, Henry Hoofton at Killcliff, they put me onto the house music and, it's just good vibes, good energy, good sound. So it really just depends on the day, honestly.
Yeah, and I also felt like I have to ask this as well because you said you lived in Las Vegas now. Have you got a chance to go to the PI Center? Because I know I've talked to people on here who have they're not in the UFC yet, but they've been able to go over there. Have you got the
Yeah.
chance to go over there yet?
No, yeah, that's such a blessing. I mean, I just did my recovery and stuff. We did jujitsu there this morning at 11, and we're training alongside guys like Alex Pajeda was there today. You got Glover there. So many high level people, so many big names. You get to train and you get to feel how these guys are and sort of put yourself in the position of like, okay, like I got to work here or I'm doing really well here. So that's been such a blessing being able to train at the PI and a lot of that's because of Strickland and, he helps me out. He puts me in there and he, allows me to go to these training sessions. And then on top of it, just the recovery aspect, like after our training today, I did some sauna, some cold tubs, some contrast therapy. You get all the recovery food and drinks that you need. It's incredible. And I can't wait to be in the UFC so that I don't have to go in with somebody's name. I could just, walk in there myself. So that'll be good.
Yeah, I know you just mentioned Strickland. I'm a sports card collector, and I actually just got this nice Strickland autograph.
That's
Don't know
so
how it's
fun.
gonna look on camera, but um, I also like to collect the UFC cards. Who's a UFC fighter that you maybe hope to train with one day?
Man, I would love to train with Hamzat. I mean, he's the, champion of the weight that I'm now in as a middleweight. And, I feel like we have similar styles in the sense of we're, very grappling heavy, good wrestling credentials. And yeah, I just like his style. I like his intensity. Um, I think he's the best in the game right now. So I would love to train along somebody like him. Uh, I just think that he just levels above the rest of the field when it comes to wrestling and grappling and stuff like that. I would love to see him and Sean Strickland fight because I've heard so many stories and, I just want to see it for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Strickland versus him would be interesting. I don't think Strickland gets completely dominated like people think. Strickland actually does pretty good against
Going with Strickland, man,
wrestlers.
I could never like I don't know. You watch him on TV and it's one thing, but I mean, getting to train with him, like, I mean, yeah, you can take him down. That's no problem, but he's going to get right
Yeah.
back up. I mean, he just will not stop. And then it's what about the time that you take him down and he gets back up and then he's back in your face. That pressure is just relentless. I have a ton of respect for Strickland after being able to train with him, and he's taught me a lot. He's been a big, big like part in my evolution and my growth as an MMA fighter since moving down here or moving to Las Vegas at Extreme Couture. So he's been great, man. A lot of people perceive him as one type of person, and I definitely think
Yeah.
he plays the media and he runs with it. But he's a good dude, man, and he's helped me out a lot, and I'm really grateful to train alongside him.
Yeah, and kind of how did the relationship kind of between you and Sean kind of start?
Man, you show up to Extreme Couture and it's sparring day, and he says, he wants a piece of you today. So
Yeah.
it all started. I mean, I came here. He didn't. I mean, we trained a few years back. He probably doesn't even remember this, but when I was an amateur, I was only 2-0 as an amateur, and I actually broke my foot in the sparring round that we went, but I finished the whole round, and I did really well. I did really well with my wrestling. Uh, he was sort of putting the heat on me, and I was able to, weather that storm and stay in there. And he respected me, and he told me like, he liked my skills and he liked my work ethic and stuff like that. So he probably doesn't really remember that, but then I came back and I remember he was like, "Hey, Arizona." That's what he would call me because I lived in Arizona. I went to Arizona State. He said, "Arizona, I want you rounds 1 and 2." So I'm like, "All right, you already know what time it is." I don't know if you've seen any videos of Sean Strickland sparring, but it's uh it's interesting for sure. And we went at it. We had some good rounds, and he put the heat on, and I had good moments, I had bad moments, but that's how it all started. And I think you just you proved to him by showing up. He's a man of action. He works really hard, and I just kept showing up. So I think that's where our relationship has grown, and we use each other for the skills that we have, and just continue to develop.
Yeah, and that's it's obviously cool to hear that because I'm a huge fan of Strickland. I know a lot of people don't have different opinions on him, but I'm
Yeah,
a fan of Strickland. So, kind
he's
of
a
last
great
thing on
dude.
him, how important is it to have him kind of be training you? He's a former champion, still sits in the top 5 for rankings right now. So he's still a top dude. So how important is it to train like a guy like Strickland?
Man, it's amazing. You get to, measure yourself against a former champion. Like I said, some days I have good days, some days I have bad days. I've had days where Sean has, really beat up on me, and I've had days where I've had, really good rounds against Sean. And to be able to feel, what it's like going against a champion of the world. He was a former champion, and he's still in that mix where he could, be fighting for a title sometime. He's got a big fight coming up with Fluffy. It's super pivotal, man. It inspires me. Uh, like I said, he works really hard and he's brutally honest. So like you're gonna get the truth, right? If you have a bad day, like you're gonna hear about it. You're gonna know. The days that he's beat up on me, he's pretty much came up to me and told me, he said, "Dude, you're being like a pussy." It's like it's just that brutal and honest. But I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. I'd rather have that than a yes man and someone who just fills my head up with nonsense, and then I go fall short when it really matters. So it's amazing.
Yeah, and I always like to ask questions kind of unrelated of fighting. So, my first question would be kind of, what's kind of some hobbies that you have outside of fighting that you like to do?
Man, dude, I'll be honest with you, dude. I'm all in. It's all MMA. Like, I mean, the video games I play UFC. I watch all the fights. I'm a super fan of MMA altogether. It's not even just the UFC. Obviously, I love the UFC, but I watched Tough Enough last night. I'll watch LFA today. I just love watching fighting. So I mean, all in all, if it's not spending time with my family, it's probably something to do with fighting. So
Yeah, and that's awesome because obviously you're making that grind to the UFC, so you kind of got to do what you got to do. But maybe what's one food that if you had to eat it like every single day, this one food, what would that food be?
man, I would say I don't know. I've been on a Greek yogurt kick. Like that's been my thing because like it's like a healthy dessert type feel. Like you can get a little bit of sweetness. You put some fruit in it, some honey, some peanut butter, and it kicks off that sweet craving. But at the same time, you're getting good protein. You're getting good nutrients. So I'll say Greek yogurt right now. That's probably my go-to.
Yeah, and maybe kind of last thing I have is you mentioned how you kind of have a fight coming up, whether you can talk about it or not. How important do you think that is to, or this fight is to finally getting that call to go to the Dana White Contender Series?
Man, this fight is everything. Yeah, I'm fighting March 27th. It's going to be for CFFC for the middleweight title against a really good opponent, Nick Galante. A tough, sort of all around type of guy. I would probably put him in the box of a grappler, but he could do it all. I'm super excited to showcase my skills, and this is just the right opponent, just the right matchup with a title on the line. It's it's a high pressure situation, but also a very high reward, and I'm super excited. And when I went to accept this fight, I felt good. But every day that I continue to watch film on him and I go train, I'm feeling better and better. And in the beginning, I was thinking maybe I'm going for a finish, right? The UFC wants finishes, so I'm going to finish this guy, and I'm just really hoping that I can get it done as I see it in my head. I'm training really well. Everything's going well at training. Pushing myself every single day, and I just feel more and more confident against this opponent on this date. I got 9 more weeks, so I got plenty of time to prepare. And I don't know. Like I said, he's a really good opponent, but I feel like I'm going to smash him. So
Yeah, and that was also my last thing. So, where can the people that are listening or watching this find you, whether it's social media or just any platform like that?
you can find me on Instagram. It's at AUS Clayton. And then my YouTube is the official Austin Clayton. And that's pretty much it. I mean, every now and then I'll pop in on X, but it's just like spotty. Those are the two social medias that I really use. And yeah, man, just stay tuned because, like I said, I mean, big title fight coming up March. And then, God willing, we get the call. After I finish this, dude, we get the call to go to Contender Series. And then we got, business to handle there. But first things first is March 27th, CFFC, Atlantic City, and new.
Perfect. And for everyone watching, I'll find his links. I'll put them right down below, so you'll find them there. Make sure to follow us as well. Over the Top Talk. We've been active on Instagram lately, TikTok, and YouTube, three main platforms. So make sure to subscribe on here as well. For you, Austin, I mean, last year I was rooting for you to make the UFC, so I'll root for you to make the UFC this year. I obviously usually follow. Or last year I followed you a lot, so I'll definitely do the same this year. I wish you the best of luck,
Thank you, bro. Thank you for
and
having me on.
and I'm really hoping you get that call, man.
Soon.
I'll be looking forward to that. So, um, and also I thank you again for coming on because you guys help us make this podcast what it is. That we get the clips from these interviews, post them to Instagram. So I appreciate you for coming on as well.
Awesome, bro. Thank you, man. God bless you, bro. Hope you have a great day.
You as well, man. And for anyone watching, I'll see you guys all in the next interview that I do. So thank you, everyone, for watching and have a great day.